Hi everyone! Welcome back to English Fab, where learning English is practical, useful, and fab. Have you ever struggled with talking about things that are necessary or required? You might wonder whether to use need to or have to and what the difference is. Many learners also get confused about how to form questions or negatives with need to. In today's lesson, we'll go over the different ways to use need to, whether it's for obligations, responsibilities, advice, or urgency. This lesson follows the grammar introduced on our English Fab website, so you can review key points anytime. If you find English difficult, don't worry. You can translate the subtitles into English and your own language like this. Check the description below for extra details. So let's get started. In this section, we'll go over the 5 key ways to use need to with clear explanations and examples. Let's dive in. 1. Expressing necessity or obligation. Use need to when something is required or important to do. Example: I need to finish my homework before dinner. This means that completing the homework is necessary before eating dinner. More examples. You need to renew your driver's license soon. We need to clean the house before the guests arrive. If something must be done, need to is a natural choice. 2. Talking about duties or responsibilities. We also use need to when talking about tasks, obligations, or work-related responsibilities. Example: she needs to call her manager today. This isn't just a casual action, it's something she has to do as part of her responsibilities. More examples. He needs to submit the report by Friday. They need to prepare for the meeting. If an action is part of your job, school, or daily tasks, you can use need to. 3. Giving advice or suggestions. Use need to when offering strong recommendations or advice to someone. Example: you need to drink more water to stay hydrated. This suggests that drinking water is important for good health. More examples. You need to exercise more if you want to stay fit. She needs to get more sleep to feel better. Using need to in this way makes your advice sound helpful but not too forceful. 4. Asking about requirements. We can use need to when asking whether something is necessary for a particular situation. Example: do I need to bring my passport for the trip? This is a polite way to ask if something is required. More examples. Does he need to wear a uniform for work? Do we need to book a table in advance? If you're uncertain about a rule or requirement, need to is a great way to ask. 5. Expressing urgency. Use need to when something must be done immediately or very soon. Example: we need to leave now or we'll be late. This shows that leaving right away is necessary to avoid being late. More examples. You need to call her before she boards the plane. He needs to finish his assignment by midnight. If time is important, need to is a great phrase to use. Now that we've covered the different ways to use need to, let's go over some important tips to help you use it naturally and correctly in conversations. 1. Need to versus have to. Many learners wonder, what's the difference between need to and have to? Need to means something is necessary, but it might be flexible or more of a recommendation. Example: you need to get some rest. This is a strong suggestion, but not a strict rule. Have to expresses a stronger obligation, usually related to rules, laws, or external requirements. Example: you have to wear a seatbelt. This is a law that must be followed. If something is required by rules or laws, use have to. If it's just necessary but not strictly enforced, use need to. 2. Negative form don't need to. Use don't need to show that something is not necessary. Example: you don't need to bring food, we have plenty. This means bringing food is optional but not required. More examples. She doesn't need to buy a new phone, it still works fine. You don't need to reply right away. Be careful. Don't need to is different from must not. You don't need to go. You can go if you want, but it's not necessary. You must not go. You are not allowed to go. 3. Question form. Do you need to? To ask about requirements or obligations, use do you need to? Example: do you need to submit the report today? This asks whether submitting the report is required. More examples. Do I need to bring my ID for the exam? Does he need to attend the meeting? This structure is great for asking about rules, expectations, or tasks. 4. Use the base form of the verb after need to. The verb that follows need to should always be in its base form without to or ing. Correct. I need to exercise more. Incorrect. I need to exercising more. More examples. She needs to study for her exam. We need to prepare for the trip. Always check that the verb after need to is in its simple form. 5. Practice common phrases with need to. Here are some useful phrases to help you get comfortable using need to. I need to buy some groceries. She needs to improve her English skills. You don't need to worry about that. Try making your own sentences with need to reinforce your understanding. Great job! Now you know how to use need to for expressing necessity, giving advice, asking about requirements, and more. It's a simple but powerful phrase that will help you sound more natural and confident in English. To improve even more, try thinking of 3 things you need to do today and say them out loud. The more you practice, the easier it will be to use this phrase in your daily conversations. Okay, thanks for watching today's lesson on English Fab. I hope you found these English tips useful and feel more confident. Remember, practice makes perfect, so try using these phrases in your daily conversations. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more Fab English lessons. Until next time, keep practicing and stay Fab.